Okay.
Hello?
Houses. Right now, what we're going to get started with, I want to give you a little sneak peek of what I've put together in a Google Drive folder. And at the end of the call, if you guys want to contact me, I'll give you my contact info. Reach out to me. I'll give you access to this folder where you can go in and download all these files. But this is basically what I put together as the resources to go out and execute an open house. You have your agenda. We have the open house flyer. And I've created two pieces, a checklist for your larger clubs and a shorter version for the smaller clubs to kind of get things up and going as well. I've given you some phone scripts, email scripts, follow-up scripts to use. And then on the follow-up side, I'll give you some stuff about orienting new members, as well as some mentoring tools and stuff like that you can use to help get these new folks to get started, hopefully off to a quicker and faster track. Okay, now let's get into the presentation, and I have updated it just a touch since I did this last in February. So basically, how can we execute a good open house? And if you guys are taking a look at your Toastmasters magazine every month, the last month, so the most recent version we got has got open house and demo meetings on it. And it talks a little more detail about the open house idea as well as demo meetings. But I think it really follows right along with what we're doing here. So I think it's a pretty good plan. Again, we'll start with, why should we even have an open house? Well, when I took over as Division A director out in, well, as we know, that's the largest geographical area of the district, covering from Monroe all the way down to Lafayette and over to Beaumont. I tried to figure out, okay, how do we get these struggling clubs, bring their membership up, and try to execute in a little bit easier way, maybe doing some larger events. I went back to some experience I've had in the past with other organizations where we did visitor day. Invite a bunch of visitors, show them how a meeting works, and then ask them to join at the end of the meeting. So I went out to Beaumont, and we did one of those in each of the 4 clubs in the Beaumont area, and then we actually did one too in Lake Charles. And every club added new members. The most was 7 members at the meeting, and then we had a couple that actually got a few follow-ups after the meeting. I think there was 2 or 3 new members in another club just from following up from the folks who started. So that gives us the answer as to why we want to have an open house. We want to grow the membership. And I think we can grow it a little quicker when we do it that way. So let's walk through some steps here. Hang on, we're jumping around. Again, it's a focused effort to grow your membership. We can add multiple members at one time so we can grow our club quicker. This follows right along with Toastmaster Promise number 8, share the benefits of Toastmasters. We're going to help create more energy. As we know, if we look back at our meetings and our clubs, we're always having more fun and more energy the more members that are there. In this case, you've got new folks that don't know anything about us, so you're able to have a little more fun, educate some folks, and move the energy forward. We're also always looking for potential leaders, isn't that right? One of the biggest struggles I think some clubs have is finding leadership or people that want to step up into leadership. So this gives us more access to folks. We're going to help others develop and grow personally. And we're going to create opportunities for our members in the Competent Leader Manual with projects 6, 8, and 10. And we'll touch base on those a little bit in another minute. So some key points in the open house. We got to remember it's an event, not just another meeting. Now, as Lance taught us this weekend, probably every meeting should be an event, right? But the reality of it is, if we make a focused effort, specific date, specific time, invite some people from the community, we can really make it a much more fun event and more entertaining. I believe every club should do 4 per year, 1 per quarter. And I believe that would help us with our membership goals. Let's just say on a minimum side, you do 4 of these a year and you can bring in 3 new members at each event. That's 12 new members a year, so you've reached your goal of your 8 new members, 4 and 4. And ideally, you may even bring in more than that, because I certainly believe that as we begin to do this repetitively, the second and third and fourth events you do, you're going to get more more energetic. You're going to learn some things. You're going to find out what doesn't work, find out what does work, and you're going to create a better system and perpetuate that from year to year. Again, keep it simple, fun, and energetic. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. The system is pretty simple. Just use the tools that you have and execute them. Always commit to having one solid speaker on communication and leadership, bring in the district leaders and other great speakers as we can. And I believe every division, every area probably has really good speakers out there. They can develop a communication and leadership speech. They can make a, anywhere. Mine was about 10 to 12 minutes, I believe, that I was using. And I gave the same one at every event that I went to. And it talked a little bit about communication in my life, a little bit in leadership, how I used it. And I used some examples, from outside the outside world and stuff. But I typically also had another speaker from the club as well, just to give them an idea of what was going on. So again, you just want to have that person, something that's compelling, something that really gives them an idea of how Toastmasters can help them. We're going to take the application at the meeting. So now is the time. In the agenda, you'll notice that at the end of the meeting, there's a point where we walk right through the application. Fill in your name, address, contact info, go through the dues, how much it's costing to join, and you walk through it step by step, sign here, cash, check, or credit. We want to give them that option to join right now. And in the follow-up, that's going to be your guest list that you pull up. Anybody who didn't join, we're going to follow up and touch base with them. That's where the follow-up script comes in. So a few best practices that, from my experience to running those 5 or 6 that we did. Again, 1 per quarter. And try to time these specifically. 2 of them are going to be right before the new renewal period. This will give you a little extra burst in bumping your membership coming into that dues cycle. Again, for the smaller clubs, which say, man, it's a lot of work, I don't know if we can pull it off. The shorter version agenda for getting the open house ready to go can be done with 3 people. So if you've got 3 committed folks in your club that are dedicated and willing to do a little bit of work, and then pull in a few more people to help with promotion and marketing, it can be executed and you can grow your club membership. Basically, you'll have an event chair, you'll have a PR chair, and a visitor chair. And I've lined out, the responsibilities in the handouts that I have in the Google Drive. But these 3 pieces will help satisfy project 6, 8, and 10. You want to pick a target market. And you can this is where you may try to bring in a few extra people, form a committee, if you will, and assign a specific person a specific category. Maybe someone has contacts at the local chamber, let's market to them. Maybe someone has contacts at the local college, let's market to them. And this last one, I just learned this past year, some of you more experienced folks may have known this, and I gave the list when we did our last open house at Evangeline. We can actually get in touch with Toastmasters, the leaders of the club, and they will give you the roster from the past, I think it's up to 3 or 4 years. So you go back through it, you call out the people who are still members, and now you can reach out to these folks, phone, email, try to get some of these members back, because we know a lot of times it's a timing issue. Work was busy, family got crazy, things come up. So we can get back some old members who know how Toastmasters works, and maybe they can re-engage and learn some more stuff. Timelines typically 4 to 6 weeks in planning and preparation to build up to it. I prefer 6 weeks myself, but it can be pulled off in 4 weeks if everybody's focused and get into it. Again, just divide and conquer the task, but it can be done. Again, this is an event, so market it like it is. Try to do what you can on, PR, Facebook it, do a few Facebook posts weeks in advance to prepare people for it. Use different avenues and be creative in your market. You guys know your areas and the people you can contact. But just some little blurbs here and there. Find maybe possibly centers of influence. Maybe the Facebook folks that that have a good group of people you'd like to get to. Have them do a specific post promoting it for you. Or maybe some particular businesses. You can hang flyers in their door windows, and stick them up in the library or whatever. But again, make it a big deal. You want to prep your agenda for the meeting by getting key people in the key places. Again, I think we all need experience in all our roles in the club, but if you've got a particular member or 2 that are really good at table topics, have them roll that one out for that night. Maybe a great evaluator. put him in that role for that evening. Toastmaster, go down the list there. Remember, this is showtime. We want to make sure everybody's on their game, prepared, at the meeting early, have a greeter, a mixer, have everybody involved with the guests as they walk in the door. You want to be as prepared as you possibly can so that when the people start walking in, everybody's available to visit with folks. And then you want to have, like I say, I always set up a little visitor packet. Minimum, you want to have the application. We're going to give value with the 10 tips. It's in the Google Drive. And lastly, we want to have at least maybe the benefits of Toastmasters. If you have other flyers that you want to put in there, that's fine. Don't overdo it, but give them enough value to where they have a good sense of what Toastmasters is about. Many of our clubs have some senior members who have been around a while. They got a pile of Toastmaster mags at the house. They can bring those in and you can use those as well. Again, I've given you an invitation script, just basically a word track. The idea behind this isn't so much to tell you what to say, but it's to give you an idea of how to keep it simple, sweet, and to the point. As we know, many times we can get into some questions on the phone. People will tell me a little bit about it. Well, look, all you really need to do, look, if you can just commit to being there, I know you're going to enjoy it and have fun. Matter if it's a personal invite face-to-face as well, whatever that takes. But it's just to give you some general ideas on what to say and how to say it so that it's short and sweet. We don't keep people on the phone and we don't kind of drag it out more than it needs to be done. I've given you an email template. If you like the email, you got a big list of email folks you can send stuff to. It gives you a good idea on what to put in there. Follow-up script for after. If you want to, we always want to follow up. I think this is one thing I could say that we dropped the ball on a little bit in several of the clubs. After people have come to the meeting, did we follow up with them within that first week? When they're warm, they've seen it, they're kind of excited about it. Maybe they didn't want to make a decision tonight, whatever's going on, but follow up. Hey, what'd you think about the meeting? What'd you like most? Well, look, I just wanted to see if you're going to make it back to next week's meeting. We'd love to have you. Make sure and bring that application when you come. So at least you're given the opportunity to come back. You're asking for the commitment. Again, we do that in a meeting, but also there, at least the commitment to come back to can I expect you at the next meeting? Awesome. We're looking forward to seeing you. And at the last absolute least, again, we're not pestering folks. We're not trying to high pressure them. We just want to know, are you interested? Yes. Are you not? No, no big deal. Or maybe it's just a bad time. I'm busy at work, things in family, whatever it might be. This right here is just a snapshot of the open house for the larger clubs. So if you're a club that's got 20 plus members or 30 members and you've got a good pool to pull from, you can develop committees and all this stuff. This outline is going to walk through and give you a little more specifics that can be done. Okay. The second one I developed was simply for your smaller clubs. 3 meetings prior to the open house. Again, who's responsible for what, a lot of things that need to get done. But this can be done with 3 people. If they want to work the program, again, follow the procedures. And again, every club has its own intricacies. So you may have some things that you can graft and change and make a little different that'll work better for your club as you progress. So that's why I've included down here on the right the debrief. So after the open house, let's sit down and see what happened. What was it a success? What do we think we could have done better? And I think too, don't ever think if I only had 1 or 2 members that came and joined, do not think that was not a successful club event. Because if we got 1 new member, it's a success because that's 1 more than we had before. Again, make it fun. You want to be upbeat, full of energy. We want to have everything planned out. Again, reach out to the district leaders, your area, division directors, also, the top 3, the big 3 as I call it. Because we all know we all are successful if some of those are successful. And it all begins with the clubs and the members. If we're helping them, then everybody's going to be successful. Again, this is numbers for my clubs that I worked with back then. On average, about 50% of attendees joined. We had some that were, 30 at the meeting, and they got a few more that joined afterwards. But, if you can get 10 people in a room, there's a very high probability you'll get at least 2 to 3 members. And with some follow-up, you might get a couple of more. But we've got to ask that question. Again, follow-up is a big key, and I think if we focus on that, we'll do a lot better and really bring some more people in. And then the rest is just doing it, executing the plan. Again, 4 times a year. If you get 3 at a meeting, you're going to have 12 easy, and you're never going to have to worry about the membership piece. And just think about this from a leadership standpoint. If you could sit there and know, I mean know, that without a shadow of a doubt, you're going to have 12 members coming in every single year, how does that shift your focus on what I can do in the other parts of my club? Work harder on educating the club, better speakers, successful club series, put more effort into our mentor program. Because we know in the real world, everything's about the time we have to spend. So if we know that we can focus on these events, it's going to free up time for us to do other things at the clubs, you know, outside the clubs and that kind of thing, to really grow our membership and really develop the people within the club, both the communication and the leadership side. And we always got to keep it personal. We all know that no matter what marketing you're going to do, the best marketing is always a personal invite to somebody you know. If every person in the club, I don't care if you got 12 members or 42 members, if everybody brings one guest and then 20 to 30% of those join, you're going to grow your club every single event that you have like this. And it's going to solve a lot of the concerns and some of the stressors that some of the clubs have. So let's go back, now that we've talked about it a bit, to my Google Drive and kind of give a little snapshot of all the documents here. Now we've got the open house piece. This is the same PowerPoint I'm walking through right now. So you can take that PowerPoint and walk through it with your club, the leadership team, the ones that's going to help execute it. Again, here's the 10 tips for successful public speaking. Again, you can print that in black and white if that's easier. I don't think those are very expensive. You might get 10 for like $2 or $3 from Toastmasters if you want to actually purchase some, if you can. Again, open house agenda. I'm going to open this up real quick. If we look here at the bottom, and again, what I've done here, again, basic Toastmaster meeting. Still going to have your people for all your reports and roles. One speaker, your keynote, if you will, and then have a second speaker from the club that's going to give a 5 to 7 minute speech. And this is basically going to, again, as we know, sometimes when you see just the experienced folks, you're like, man, I'll never be that good. Well, this will give some option from folks from the club to give speeches, and so you don't have just that vision for folks to see. Because as we know, there's a lot of different levels of members that come to visit our club, so we want them to see a variety of people. Table topics as well, a good evaluator, and then of course your evaluator can actually be the general evaluator as well as the meeting. We do some member testimonials, just a couple of them, but you want these to be planned out. We don't want to just call on someone randomly and they get up there and they talk for 5 minutes. We want it to be a short and sweet 2 to 3 minute, basically just like an evaluation, to tell them something they've learned or what they've experienced from Toastmasters and why they still stay engaged and joined. And then you have someone walk through the application. Now, when you do this, you want to be real specific. I mean, we should have pens in hand. People should be writing their names. Okay, so first line, fill in your name. You know how to spell that, correct? Then you go to the address, email, make sure the contact is right, because we want to be able to reach you, both Toastmasters and the club. Walk through it and have the exact number that is going to cost to join tonight. So if it's in the odd part of the year, tonight it's going to cost you $48.50 to join our club. You don't need to break it out right there. You can give a quick synopsis, hey, $20 for the new member, your club dues, and then your club membership is only $6.50 a month. That comes out to $42.50 tonight. Cash, check, or credit. And then have someone or 2 or 3 people that they can go and talk to specifically that can help them fill out the application, get things processed, and get that app from them. And then, of course, you just wrap up the meeting there. All right. That's really the presentation as it is. If you want to open it up, Mohammed, we can go ahead and take a few questions and such.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm sorry, real quick. If you want to shoot, hang on, let me go. If you come right here, thewolfspeaks@gmail.com. If you shoot me an email there, I'll return back and send you the link to get all those documents, and you can download them from there. But go ahead. Any questions? Oh, now, LaVersa, you don't have no questions, LaVersa?
Yes, I do have a question. I was trying to write down your link. It's the Wolf speaks at mail.
At gmail.com.
At Gmail.
Yeah, my last name is spelled W-O-L-F-E.
Okay.
Got an E on the end. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I will be emailing you because I would like the documents.